Hello and welcome back to Flywheel Films. My name is Austin. This is my NC Miata, you know the drill by now. And I have been on a tear with these interior mods, and I'm coming at you with another one today, seat lowering brackets. I am not a super short guy, I'm about 6 foot tall. And while I fit in my car fairly comfortably, I think dropping the seat about an inch will help quite a bit, and I do plan on taking my car on track a couple times this summer, so these might help me pass the infamous, what do they call it? The broomstick. I have some help behind the camera. They'll help me pass the broomstick test. So without further ado, my buddy Nam and I are going to get into the install on this, and it should be fairly straightforward from what the instructions say. I know Nam has done this before too, so like the last one, I guess you'll find out with me, and hopefully I'll save you some time. Before we get any further in today's video, I really quick wanted to specify the exact seat lowering bracket that I'm installing. Huge thanks to Moss for sending this out, by the way. They do carry quite a few options for seat lowering brackets, and for the NC specifically, there are two types of seats. There is a non-height adjustable available in 2006 and 2007, and then after 07, there is a height adjustable seat. If you're not sure which one you have, check the side. There is a additional lever by your seat reclining lever that will allow for that height adjustment. Good news, Moss carries a bracket for both, but if you're like me and you have a non-height adjustable seat, you have two options. You can either do a 1-inch drop, which is what I opted for, or a 2.5-inch drop. Definitely a little bit more aggressive. It is a little bit more costly, and the install is more involved, which is part of the reason why I opted for the 1-inch, but I also think the 1-inch will be plenty for my use case. Tools needed for the job are a ratchet, a 14 and a 13 millimeter socket, a number 5 Allen key, drill, some drill bits, flathead screwdriver, a hammer, some pliers, and a Dremel tool would also be really helpful. And lastly, a center punch. Please just buy a center punch. They're $3.50 at Harbor Freight. It'll be worth your while, I promise. So to start, you want to remove these front two bolts on your seat. They're a 14 millimeter. And then you have two in the back as well. Slide the seat forward and recline it forward. My bolts are on there pretty good. I did have to use my impact to get them out, just a quick heads up. So before you can remove the seat, you do need to get this connector undone. In order to do that, there is a small little plastic bar that needs to be pulled down. As you pull away, you can then remove the seat. With the seat out of the car now, you have a couple options. You can remove the seat sliders like it recommends in the instructions. Nam and I found that if you just prop the seat up on a table like this with it fully reclined, you get pretty good leverage on it. Now that the seat is out and propped up, this is the most fun part of the install. It's removing these massive rivets in these OEM brackets. This is not a super easy task, and this is where I really think a center punch would have been a game changer. I first tried to use a hammer and a nail. It didn't go very well. Yeah, this is going to be difficult. And pliers holding the nail also didn't really do anything. I think it's because the powder coating on the rivet, it just made it really hard to make a decent indent there. I'm not getting anywhere close on that. I resorted to using my little mini Dremel tool to have something for the drill bit to rest in when I started drilling. This is where I used my 5/8 drill bit, and I just drilled for a while, and then after I got done drilling, I would vacuum. And then after vacuuming, I'd whack it with a flathead screwdriver and a hammer a couple times. Then back to drilling, kind of rinse and repeat this. This took about 15-20 minutes to get this side off. It was really not too terribly difficult, and I think a lot of that had to do with how precise my middle mark was on the rivet. So yeah, after messing with it for a while and a lot of drilling and vacuuming, we were able to manhandle this rivet out with some pliers. And then we wedged a flathead screwdriver between the bracket and the rail. And then after breaking that little tiny spot weld that's there, we were able to just hit the end of the bracket with a hammer, and it just spun off. So the spot weld did leave a little bit of material behind, so I ground that down with my little Dremel tool. And then after that, Nam and I attempted to figure out which bracket goes on which side. The holes are actually a little bit off center, but if you have the brackets turned the right way on the rails, the holes will be on the inside of the seat. Now to attach the Jass bracket, you just need the included hardware. your number 5 Allen key, and your 13mm socket. And after one final vacuum, we are wrapped up with side number 1. The only good thing that came out of the second side is the tip to y'all to use a cardboard box or something to cover up the seat so you don't have to vacuum these metal shavings off so many times like I did. Aside from that, the second side went a lot worse, and I can confidently say that if I had a center punch, it probably would have gone better. The main reason why it took so long for us to get this done is my hole was a little bit off center, so the rivet just gave us a lot of problems coming out. Had to use a handful of different tools that you shouldn't have to use. I didn't have to use on the first side, but after fighting it for like an hour, I had to just give up, go to Home Depot to get a carbide blade for my oscillating tool so I could just cut the rivet off from the top. And after only about 10 minutes of wrestling it on day 2, I was able to finally get the rivet off, and I had the job wrapped up in another 10 minutes after that.
Yes.
I'll let you decide which one was the easier and harder bracket to get off. And then same thing as last time, I just ground down the spot weld so it was a flat surface, and then attached the lowering bracket. Reinstalling the seat is the same as taking it out. Just make sure you don't hit anything when you're putting the seat back in. Just get that connector on the bottom of the seat connected before you put any bolts in. As far as bolting down the seat with the lowering brackets on, I found it best to just get them all started by hand. I did kind of have to move the seat around and finagle it a little bit, and then I used my little automatic ratchet here to snug up the bolts, and then I followed everything with a regular ratchet just to make sure I wasn't over or under tightening them. Here's a quick look of what the brackets look like fully installed, and like I said, those holes are off center a little bit and they're going to be on the inside of those seat brackets. I was really worried all that work didn't feel like it was going to pay off, but it definitely did. The before and after was really noticeable, and the broomstick test especially shows how big of a difference it made. Sitting in my regular seating position, this does technically pass the broomstick test, I guess, but if I am sitting up really straight, it's a little bit above the style hoop. I wanted to give my final thoughts driving the car around in the freshly lowered seat, but Arkansas weather has had other plans over the last couple days, so I was only able to take it around the block really quick. First impressions were good though. I really enjoy sitting a little bit more in the car as opposed to, I don't know, on it. I felt like with my height, I was just a little bit higher than I should have been. So really happy with it on my first impressions. I am very keen to see how I like it over time on some longer drives. And I am extremely interested to see if I can pass a legit broomstick test with a helmet on and a roll bar after I get one of those installed. I do have a couple of track days that I'd like to attend later this year and next year, so I will be doing those mods in the coming months. So definitely stay tuned for a lot more NC installs coming. Jordan and I have to get our cars ready for Miata summer camp here in a couple months. So if you're going to that, definitely let us know. If you found this video helpful at all, please drop a comment down below and let me know. I really just want to make these videos, for one, to entertain you guys, but also if you're doing these installs at home, I really hope I can make your life a little bit easier and save you some time and some headaches. So that's it for this one. We'll see you guys in the next one. If I slouch a little bit. Hello, welcome back to Flight. Just said welcome back.
Don't worry about going out.